Hello?
Oh, hey. Okay, good. Sorry.
What?
I'm trying to have call you and have a conversation at the same time. I'm sorry. Could you by chance check your email to see if Prudential sent you something regarding this EOI Prudential form? Because I'm trying to figure out where to send it, and they may have sent you the blank form with instructions on where to return it to.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, not at the moment. Okay, I'll do it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Well, what, you thought I forgot you? I had a phone call come in at the last minute. And, you know, you gotta you gotta take care of those little duties. Okay. So, how's everybody on a Friday morning? Now that the election stuff is kind of, whew, it's interesting watching all these uh, newsreels of the late night, you know, woke people. Can't believe what just happened. It all comes down to I mean, other than Trump, because he's an unusual character to begin with. Um, but turning down epidemic or royalty-free music because I can't hear myself think with that. Anyway, it's nice. We're streaming. We're 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 a simulcast, and we're Twitter Live, YouTube Live, and Facebook Live. FAU4U, that's our handle on two of them. Excuse me while I have a little sip of my hot tea. I switched from coffee about 4 or 5 months ago. Anyway, I liked the hot tea, the morning blend, of course. Anyway, so it's interesting watching all these late night TV people melt down. Yeah. Well, I guess Saturday Night Live will have to reinvent their Trump stand-in or comedian, whatever happens there. Yeah. Yep. November 8th. It's Friday. One house cleaning up and getting stuff ready at 1 a.m. I just took a snippet so I could get it logged in. And I was hearing about the $7 for a pound of butter. Well, guess what, fans? That's $8.19 that's Publix. And the Indian lady is gone. Maybe Land O'Lakes will get smart and put the Indian lady back. Yeah, that's why. If you're wondering, that's why I cut that out. And large organic brown eggs, $6.53 a dozen. Everything's twice the price. And are we enjoying it twice as much? I don't think so. Yeah. You can see my finger right here. I'm doing a little flippy dippy on here. Yeah. Yeah, this is live TV. It's the Rebob. And all three of them are still cooking there. Yeah. Oh, Hasselblad. I voted. Yeah, this lady, uh, Susie Wiles, Chief of Staff. She has her own office right outside the Oval Office. And if you oftentimes there's a camera set up on the right side of the Oval Office as you're facing his desk. And oftentimes you see a door open. It's almost like a trap door. I mean, the door, you don't even notice that there's a door opening, you know. Anyway, this panel opens up. It's a door, full height, 8-foot door. And and someone walks through it, and whoop, there she is. Yep, she's the gatekeeper to the president, chief of staff. Basically controls access to the president. There's lots of people in the White House. Chief of staff is the big job. A lot of presidents, there have been presidents that go through a lot of chief of staffs, but he's worked with her. She's been his campaign chairman for a few campaigns. So she knows how to talk with the president and communicate. Let's put it that way. Yep. And, he's a tough guy, and apparently she's, the daughter of Pat Summerall. How about that? The voice of sports. Yeah. This is a little story of. No, this is a little story of, the president getting elected. And there's only one other president in the history of our country that served 8 years, but not contiguous years. And that's Grover Cleveland. He was the 22nd president, and he was also the 24th president. 1884 and 1892. Can you imagine? 120, 130 years ago? Yeah. Whew. And anyway, so what did I say? Stay mad or get over it. And Trump, he's president-elect, so let's hope he takes care of himself and doesn't get shot or something or other. He's looking up to heaven. They saved him. Yep. Germany's normally stable government has collapsed. Well, auf Deutsch. Ich bin ein Berliner. Live election updates. Yeah. The best convertibles on the market today. And look what they got featured. The Lexus. I tell you what, that's the only car I like that front end on. That front end looks very clumsy on the bigger cars. Don't care for the front end of their whole line of cars, except that the front end on this one looks okay. Maybe they just need to bring the side panels a little more into that grille. But, it's got that gasoline engine that needs all this air sucking in, because the heat. There's a principle of the efficiency of an engine. It's called enthalpy. 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 There's a TH in the middle of that word, yeah, enthalpy. And the more heat that an engine throws off is an engine that is not efficient. as opposed to an engine that doesn't throw off a lot of heat. The lower the heat, according to the principles of enthalpy, the lower the heat generation, the more efficient the engine is. That makes sense, right? An engine. Anyway, this is what my little world looks like. You generally don't see this guy over on my left side because the camera is right above. It's right above this thing, looking, and you can see down. You can see some of the controls. You see this rack of controls right there, yeah. And all these sliders control the volume levels of the different audio sound sources. Like there's a microphone over here that's like away from me. Let's turn it towards me. There we go. And we can turn that up. Hello? 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 Yes. A lot of singers use that one. Yeah, Elvis Presley was photographed a lot with this microphone. I've had it since 1958, I think. I had a back in the days when what do you call it? The CB radio was a big thing, and it was before cell phones. So CB radio was a way to communicate between cars, trucks, highways. Talking on the highway, you're bored of driving on a long road, so you talk on the CB radio. Well, I had this microphone. You hear that? Yep. That's that microphone. I had that microphone hooked up to the CB radio. I had a ground plane antenna. So the antenna stuck up like this, and it had four laterals going out that were grounded, and you had this spike going up in the middle, which was the antenna, and it would throw out 5 or 10 watts worth of power. You could get boosters. Some of them were legal and some weren't. I don't know what the limits were. I forget what the CB radio limits were. I know Cobra, COBRA, was a very popular dash-mounted, under the dash. You had your controls, your squelch, if I remember. Where you turn the squelch up so that only the strongest signals would come through. So you weren't talking with noise. You open up the squelch too much and you hear a lot of noise coming through your whatever speaker system you connected it to. Anyway, so CB radio, I had that microphone hooked up to it. That's why I bought it. It cost, $65 or something. Now it's, 400, 300, 400, 350. Somewhere in there. Shure, SCHURE, S55, I think. That's for sure, 55. The 55th design or something, I don't know. And I'm speaking it, actually, this microphone is an Electro Voice. It's, I have it because of Rush Limbaugh, because this was his microphone. I figured, well, if it's good enough for Rush, it should be good enough for Jimmy. He had 25 million listeners every afternoon between 3 and 5 or 2 and whatever. It was a 2 or 3 hour broadcast. Maybe it's noon to 3. Yeah, and so he has 25 million listeners. I'm lucky if I have 25 or 125. You know, I have 1,000 and I have 1,500 friends, but they don't listen to me, and maybe that's because I don't advertise it anywhere, and I haven't been reliable with this 9:15 thing. I need to, you know, I don't know. Let's see, 16 minutes, and my clock says 9:33. So, all right, I got in there at 9:16 instead of 9:15. Yeah, I mean that's. I was all set and ready. I had everything all, I just, it's technical. Since I have a staff of 3 that are running this station, me, myself, and I. And sometimes my technology officer is a little slower than I. Anyway, this is my little. There's the microphone I'm talking about. Yeah, and then you see the central panel. Oh, this is my. Let's see. We can replicate. Let's see. There we go. Oops, there's eggs. There we go. So in here we see the 7th. That's when I took the picture. You see the microphone. So that's all. You see, but I got the 8 on here. And above, you see my control panel for the show. This is, and of course I can go here, and bingo. Now we got full screen here. You can see my tea and my straw. Anyway, for those that are interested, what does Jimmy's world look like? I try to get this out of the. Who wants this? No one wants to see my tea. I'll get it right over here and watch. I'll knock it on the floor. The other settings right here. That's the only one right there we have to watch out for. Yes, sir. And then we have this one here, which you hear the crickets? Yes, sir. Here's the crickets. I should leave that up. Yeah, okay. Don't get carried away there, Mr. Studio. Anyway, that's that. This is the edges of my. Up there you can see the computer keyboard. I just carved that up because it's unnecessary detail, and we are streaming. And the more detail you show on these streaming, excuse me, can you just turn? Yeah, there we go. I'm competing with Epidemic, and if I can hear it in my headphones, it's probably driving you crazy. Anyway, when you're running a show that's streaming, which means that you have this open channel, it's not cable TV, it's streaming. So you want to keep the detail down to a minimum because you don't want to use bandwidth up unnecessarily on and detail in your picture uses bandwidth. That's it. And I also cut this. Whoops! I don't want to cut the light off. There we go. Cut down the intensity of the light. Let's see what happens if I adjust the color. Interesting, huh? We make a little candlelight. Whoa, that's a real low color temperature. We'll leave it like that. It's less glaring on the eyes. And I can actually turn that up a little bit with that color. Ooh, that's really interesting. All right, I'll play. So we have a little. The whites still look white. That's an old iPad, which has been, when you pay $1,000 for an iPad, like 6 years ago, and then when you want to turn it in, they're going to give you $150. Heck with that. I'll just make a TV out of it, and there we go. We got a TV. I've got the Xfinity app running, and I'm just seeing this Penny, this guy who was a former Army guy. Let's turn the brightness down on that a little bit so you can see the delayed broadcast there. Daniel Penny, day 12 of his manslaughter trial, because he put this wacko guy that was getting ready to murder people, or at least everyone thought he was, this drug infested homeless guy that was in a subway car, and the subway is moving, and you're trapped in this car, right? I mean, this vehicle that's not very big, and you've been in a bus, or it's like a bus, a subway car. You got them all connected, and you may have 10 or 15 cars on a train. I don't know how many cars on a train, but when you're enclosed like that, and you got a maniac that's like coming after this woman with a little baby. He ran up behind this guy and put him in a chokehold and brought him right down to the ground. And they held him for 4 or 5 minutes, until he would settle down. And he settled down. He let go of him, and, he wasn't dead. He was moving around, and he ended up having a heart attack and died. But, he was all drugged out. So what are you supposed to do? Just sit there and watch him attack some lady with a baby? And you're in this enclosed container and you're moving at, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles an hour. You can't open the door and run out. There's nowhere to go. You're stuck in this car. You could change. You could run to another car. If there was another car, there could be. Could have been the last car, and there's no way to run that way. And he's got you trapped. I mean, you got all these scumbags floating around in New York City, and they're prosecuting a guy that saved, maybe 2 or 3 other people's lives. I mean, it's just disgusting. This, hopefully, the Trump influence, well, Trump said he's going to get rid of the sanctuary city stuff. So that should clean up the streets of these major cities. And he's going to, mass deport. So hopefully that gets underway sooner rather than later and start getting rid of these scumbags. Oh gosh. And let's see. Let's get rid of this. I was just noticing. Where is he? How do I get to? There we go. Yeah, this is the talk of the town now. Producers, give me. There we go. This is full screen on the Yellowstone. Yeah, we've been watching every few minutes. You get to see these guys again. I told Marilyn, I said, we're going to have to. This is season 6. We're going to have to go to season 5 and watch the last 2 episodes of season 5 just to get warmed up to these characters. Figure out who they are. It's been, like a year and a half or something. It's been quite a while since we've seen. It seemed like this guy right here, Kevin Costner. He said, "I had enough. I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it anymore." They make a lot of money. They got all the money that money can. Do I want to spend another year and a half of my life, or year of my life, or whatever? It takes a while to shoot all these episodes, and they're high quality. Taylor Sheridan is a is a very gifted person. I got a picture of him somewhere in here. But he writes the story, then he screenwrites it so that it's written so that um, it can be what do you call it? It can be broadcast either in a movie form or you or TV format. There's a difference. Uh, don't ask me what. Anyway, but he said for a while, I'm not doing it. So apparently Taylor Sheridan already wrote the story. So oops. So now um, he wrote the season. I don't know if he fully wrote the season or had it all figured out in his head. But to write the story is a gift all by itself. Um, but then to do the screenplay, to actually do the production, he directed and produced and wrote it. Yeah, and all these characters are running around, and you know, within their characters. And of course, Taylor Sheridan, he wrote the thing, so he created the characters and their moods and their personalities. I mean, it's like, it's mind blowing if you just think about what he's done. Because this guy here has a personality, and Taylor Sheridan created these personalities. I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, look at all these people. We know who they are. There's the daughter. There's the useless son. Oh, jeez. Something's beeping. I mean, it's crazy that people call me on my data line. This what do you call it? I'm a pad that's sitting right here. As a is I don't know. No, you can't see it, but it's got like the three bars like you see on a cell phone. Well, that's the three bars on my data line. I can go to my settings menu and look at the about, and yeah, I have a data line here. 561-213-8930. Yep, I got an AT&T carrier. Yeah, 60.5.6. I mean, there's so much the modem firmware. I have 485 apps. I have a tetrabyte of capacity storage, and I got 362 gigabytes left over. That bothers me a little. I guess I have 509 videos. I need to figure out how to get rid of some of those because those videos can really chew up memory, particularly when you're running at um, 4K. Forget 8K. I mean, that's 4K. That gives you good, your screens. Most of your screens, all. I'm not gonna say all because all is a three-letter word. Yeah. So 99% of the screens. I mean, the only screens that are 8K are probably military. For any serious use or studio use of some sort. 8K. That's a lot of pixels, flashing at 60 frames a second. Talk about a lot of data. Woohoo! Anyway, I'm just looking at my iPad. We'll get rid of this. There we go. We're back to. Anyway, so Yellowstone. There's Papa. Got his hands on a 30-30, probably. Smith & Wesson 30-30. He's got some tough-ass boots on. He's got kick-ass boots on. Yep. He's got his kick-ass shirt and hat on. He's ready to... Yep. There's a picture of nothing. And there's youngest son. I forget who he is. Yep, see, he's got his kick-ass boots, too. He's a cowboy. That's Sir Bob. Yellowstone. It's really very... Up there you go. There's all the characters. There's the youngest... There's a not-so-young son who's an attorney. I think he played attorney general for, this state of confusion. There's the wife of the youngest son. She's got what I call Indian attitude. Yep, she's a Native American Indian, or she plays that. I don't know what she really is. Looks like she's got some Asian in her for sure. Almost high cheekbones. Attractive dude. She doesn't look very happy. She plays a not very happy role, so she's got that little frowny face on there. You just want to slap her a few times and say, "Get with the program or get out." Come on. And there's the daughter and her husband. Yeah, he's kind of a quiet guy. He's got the edges of his hat bent up pretty good. Yeah. He doesn't. A little more streamlined. I'll notice on my little device over here it says, "Yeah, it's a Robo Kitty." I was wondering about which one of these pictures had more detail. Yeah, I think let's get rid of this one. Delete photo. It's gone. Bingo. It's gone. There we go. Yeah. So we're just getting you all warmed up for season 6. It says this week. Well, they're running out of days in this week. It must be Sunday. Yeah. It's not Thursday because it still says coming this week. And we're in this week and it's Friday. Hello. Not many days left. Will Kevin Costner be in season 6? Well, it looks like it. He's got all kinds of photos. He's got to be in. I don't think they'd do it without him. We'll find out. That's what the headline is here. Will Kevin Costner be in Yellowstone season 6? And I don't know if this guy's going to shoot Kevin Costner. I don't know. That's the middle son. There's the oldest daughter. There's a younger son. So you got 3 siblings right here. And they all have a role in the show, that's for sure. Well, I guess that's all the Yellowstone I got. Yeah, well, that's enough. Since we're here, let's play. Let's get a little, let's throw a little brightness on that sucker. Turn up the black. Yeah, make it a little more intense. Turn up the color a little bit so they look like they have some blood going through their veins. All right, we're done with that one. There's another one here that looks... Oh, yeah, let's give that one some help. We do that. And let's see how... See, that's like an auto... We'll turn the black point up a little bit and deepen it. And then we're going to turn up the color saturation a little bit. Yeah, ooh, Now we're talking deep tones. Yeah, we got blood going there. This one really needs some help. So we'll hit the auto button. Yeah, that helps. I'm into turning out there. See how it deepens? It's almost like contrast without killing the color. And now we're going to turn up the color a little bit. That's too much. See, that's too much. Now it's black and white. And I think we need it right about there. Done. Now let's, yeah, everybody looks better. Yeah. Now the blue jeans look like extra blue. And this lady's shirt is better. And this one here, redhead. She's actually English. Kelly something. Yep, there's the old. This one doesn't need much of anything. Actually, it looks better just the way it is. We'll do a little black and we'll turn up the saturation just a tad. Yeah, just a tad. There we go. Yeah, now we got some intensity. We got some intensity. Oh, yeah, that picture looks really good. Yeah, this one, I don't like the way this looks. Nope, we don't want to delete the photo. We're just going to set these back to 0. I think we're just going to leave this one alone. I think they got that just the way they wanted. Let's do that. And, yeah. There's a little missile. The wings look a little ragged, so this puppy apparently did not explode when it hit its. Yeah, see, there's the control module for this puppy is right in the front end of this guy, and it didn't happen. The problem with these munitions, you never know when it might happen, and you could be playing with it, and all of a sudden, bam, and there's high explosive in those things. So to be handling them is not a smart thing to do. There's our president-elect with his granddaughter, who he likes to play golf with, and apparently she hits a ball, like 275-yard drive. That's pretty good for a girl. I mean, not to be sexist or anything, but, girls don't have they have different, components, body parts, arms, legs, the turning muscles when you turn around, with golf. 275-yard drive is good for anybody, much less someone who's 16 years old or whatever. She's Trump's granddaughter, not daughter. There she is, standing next to he's 6'4" or something. She's 5'8". I don't know. There she is at the Republican National Convention. They're talking about Donald having picked a number of the Supreme Court justices, like 3 of them, in his last term. He's talking about getting 2 more lined up. I don't know. We got some people getting, Thomas. He may be thinking about retiring. He's in his 80s. Excuse me. Yep. Yeah, my phone says you just heard a cough. Sometimes you have to cough, particularly people like me that talk too much. Anyway, so he's lining up 2 more justices. He put on 200, according to this, he put on 234 judges on his first term, and he's going to, he's going to have, I think he's got 54 seats in the Senate. This says he's at least 52. Well, I think we know he's got 54 at this point. So that's why this little panel is there. Because, and then this panel is on here because he's sitting in court. And you remember, and he was convicted of this, this trumped up charge. Something that happened with, wealthy people get sued all the time, So this guy, for President Trump keeps on getting nagged by this woman. He pays $130,000. His attorney actually got a second mortgage on his own personal residence and paid this woman and had her sign an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement. This didn't happen, and you're admitting it didn't happen under oath. It's not criminal oath, just oath. I got my hand on the Bible, and I got my hand on a $130,000 check, and since I got a one in each hand, I'll take the money, I'll sign this piece of paper, and I'll go away for the rest of time. Well, she came back. Stormy Daniels. She happens to be a high-priced hooker. The hooker's hooker. Well, she hooked him good. And it landed this guy with this lawsuit because they've come up with some novel idea that in New York State, so, he called it a legal expense because he got billed by his attorney, $10,000 a month or $20,000 a month. And part of that money reimbursed the attorney who took a second mortgage out on his to pay this 130, which was part of this legal chat box stuff that was going on. So according to the New York people, that was a cover-up. Yeah, you're not allowed to cover that up. He called it a legal expense. What else would you call it? There are only so many chart of accounts that you have. And, you don't have a chart of account that says, shut up, bitch. That's not part of one of the legal, since you didn't have, a chart of accounts, people that talk too much, or whatever, legal expense, that's fraud. You hid that payment. Well, that's the whole idea, dummy. We don't, oh, God. Well, he's 4 counts of, this crazy New York State that has never been used for. This law was enacted, 100 years ago, and no one ever used it. It may not have been 100 years ago. It may have been 70.